Президент тут. Всі ми тут. Наші військові тут.
The sight of the exhausted but defiant Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky filming himself in the streets of Kyiv as Russians shelled the city captured the world's imagination. Rarely is a world leader seen recording selfies from a city under attack.
Наш офіс. Понеділок, вечір. Ви знаєте, ми звикли говорити понеділок день важкий.
President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people are a true inspiration.
He's a very brave man.
What this dude is doing, it is incredibly moving.
Russian forces far outnumbered Ukraine's army, and Zelensky's prolific online and social media messaging in the first crucial days of the invasion helped galvanize widespread support for Ukraine. This is how he did it.
Значить так, я тут, ніяку зброю ми не складемо.
Until Russia invaded Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky was, to most people, simply a supporting character in the first impeachment of former US President Donald Trump in 2019. That episode focused on Trump's request to Zelensky to look into then Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden and his son Hunter during a conversation about releasing US military aid to Ukraine. Zelensky took on a leading role when he became the face of Ukraine's resistance against Russian President Vladimir Putin's forces.
There's something about the personal reportage that makes it powerful, you know, the kind of sort of cinema verite kind of approach.
Andrew Chadwick is a political scientist based in the UK who studies the role of the internet and new media in political communications.
He was very effective at communicating to the public that are in the nations that he needed to get on side, partly because he knew that it was important to reach them so that they would put pressure on their governments.
The 44-year-old spoke regularly with Western leaders, imploring them to step up their actions against Putin and grant the country admission to NATO.
Одні ми на самоті з Росією ми просто не зможемо.
Zelensky was particularly effective, I think, in cutting through in a way that often is difficult to do in a military conflict, using direct video communication that he knew was likely to be circulated on social media. There's a certain emotionality involved in his communication as well.
Ми боремося за наші права, свободу, за життя.
One of the most striking images that came out of the pre-war period when Putin met with Emmanuel Macron, the French leader, was this huge table that they sat at either end of. In one of Zelensky's talks, he actually drew attention to the distance that Putin had established and kind of taunted him for it.
Меня не надо на 30 метров держать. Я не кусаюсь. Я нормальный мужик. Сядь со мной.
It's interesting to consider the cultural power of somebody like Zelensky. I mean, he started out, you know, in show business as a comedian, as an actor, as a stage performer. And so he understands quite readily, I think, in a way that most ordinary people don't, what it takes to really cut through with messaging.
Before he was elected president in 2019, Zelensky was best known for his television role as an ordinary schoolteacher accidentally catapulted into power.
Доброе утро, господин президент.
The show, Servant of the People, ran for 4 years, making him a household name in Ukraine. Clips from Zelensky's past as an entertainer, including an appearance on Ukraine's version of Dancing with the Stars, were widely shared online after war broke out.
Where these videos have gone viral, particularly on Twitter, I can see that people think that they want to do their bit by sort of sharing these to boost the cultural profile of Zelensky. But of course, whether or not that makes much difference at the ground level when it comes to the brutal reality of the conflict is a different matter entirely.
Zelensky's direct appeals to Western leaders and his regular online video addresses helped shape the response to Russia's invasion. Harsher economic sanctions against Russia followed a call with allies in which Zelensky told those present it might be the last time they saw him alive, according to several diplomats. And pro-Ukraine rallies took place in cities across the globe.
I think the whole world has recognized that the power of one person, President Zelensky, to motivate a nation has been demonstrated in a way we will not forget.
I think what's happened is that digital media and social media have changed the game of warfare and wartime communications, and they've democratized it. And that makes these kinds of conflicts very different from the traditional understanding of conflicts that we inherited from the 20th century. And Zelensky recognized that.
Не ховаючись і нікого не боюсь, стільки, скільки потрібно, щоб перемогти у цій нашій вітчизняній війні.